Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Welcome back to our channel, to our Omega TV UK. Stand out and speak up. I'm sure right now you know what stand out, speak up means. And with the topics that we always handle I almost said every Saturday. What's wrong with me? Every Wednesday. I'm thinking of Saturday because I'm going out
somewhere
to relax my head. I've been working so hard. So it's not Saturday, guys. It's every Wednesday, 8 p.m. UK time and 6 p.m. UK time, 6, 7, 8, and 9 p.m. Kenyan time. You know, sometimes it's 8 hours.
Yes.
It's 3 hours. Sometimes it's 2 hours. Yeah. So I don't understand. So even my head gets confused. Like, what time difference?
It's okay.
Now it's 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
Now it's 6 p.m.
The summer hasn't arrived, so
9 p.m.
9 p.m.
9
p.m. in Kenya. Because I know I have my Kenyan people who always want to watch the show. And I know there's so many people who are actually waiting for this topic because it's parenting. And you know, everything begins with parenting. If you get it wrong, the society will crucify the society. If you get it wrong, the society will crucify you. So if you've not had children yet, and you're thinking of having children, please do not touch that button. Listen to this program. And also listen to so many other programs about parenting. Because I feel like most of us, or even me, we had children before listening to these topics, and then now we don't know what to do because parenting, there's no manual, so we don't know what to do. But if you listen and train yourself, or relearn and learn and unlearn about how to bring up children, how to be a parent, how to be a good parent, the society will not crucify you, and the society will not crucify your children. So today in the studio, I have two lovely people. One of them is, not one of them, two of them. All of them is a face that you guys are familiar with. Okay? So I'll start with the only man in the house, on my left this time. So if you can introduce yourself. I'm sure everybody knows you, but just introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Stephen Mulindwa. I'm a broadcaster and journalist at this very station. I think that's all I have to say at the moment.
Okay, at the moment, that means you have more to say, right?
Yeah.
Good, thank you. And to my right?
My name is Angela Cook, and I am a psychologist, and I am so excited about this topic because, as Lydia said, if we can get it right, then it sets our children up for success, and when we say success, it's psychological success, social success, physical success.
Material.
Yeah, not necessarily material. No, no, that will come as well, because when you have when you're well, you're able to apply your skills, and you're able to go and do everything that you've been endowed to do.
And I think success also is the definition of success. Everybody defines it differently.
100%.
Some people define it with material things. Some people define it with their health.
Yeah.
Some people define it with their skills. So everybody defines. Some people even think marriage is a success. You know? Okay. And some people think it's not. So everybody has a different definition of success. But today, that's not our topic. Our topic is parenting.
Yeah, parenting today.
And I know that we are all parents. And sometimes they always say that it's so important for somebody who has gone through something to be the one talking to you about it.
Yeah.
Not the person who have learned from the book, but the person who have gone through it with experience. Like they say, I know some people tell you about, probably, let me use this as an example, cancer example. Yeah. Somebody who have never been through it can tell you this and this and this, but they don't really understand the nitty-gritty about cancer because they've never had it. They've only maybe read about it, had people say this, but once you've gone through it, you know how it is.
It's
and I know we're all parents. Lived experience. So we've all lived experience. Some of us even as single mothers.
Yes.
And I think that single mothers as well, one day we'll have a topic on its own.
We will do, because we both have been single mothers at one point in our lives. And yeah, it's a topic that we should address.
Yes, that single mother is a topic that we'll address. Don't look at us like that.
No.
And maybe even single fathers. If anyone has ever been.
I was just waiting to jump in because I know when women are together, there is always that element of forgetting that there's someone else around. I'm not saying that you've forgotten that I'm here, but I'm saying literally sometimes.
Yes.
No, not today, but I'm saying sometimes.
We can read between the lines. You're actually thinking it's today. Because I was like this. My body language, no, we've learned things, you know. We learn people. Okay. My body language was like this. So it was towards you, kind of ignoring that he's there. But my eyes, I know he's there. So I know you're there, darling. I can't forget you. Let's go. So to you, right?
Yeah.
What's the definition of parenting? What would you say?
Well, parenting, I mean, it's like they say, it takes two to tango. And it takes a village to raise a child. My belief is that I've looked at the Indian society and I've seen how the Indian carry their parenting from one end to the other end. That's where here we are in the UK. You don't find many of them, you know, committing crimes like knife crime or any other crimes, because there is that element of togetherness in a way that when children finish school, for example, my neighbors' kids in Chingford, when I was living there, they would go to another family somewhere, and you find that there were 6 families who have the same age children. They all convert there. The 15, 14-year-old after school, they don't go around to go to McDonald's or anywhere. No, after school, they're with one parent. Then when the other parents finish work in the evening, they come and collect them from there to take them home. And these are big kids. They're 14, 15, 16-year-old, but they go there, they do their homeworks in one, you know, and at first I thought it was a family. Then I realized, no, the group sat down, parents sat down and came together and came up with a system. So there's a grandmother here and there's a young lady who just given birth. So now they have a big sitting room. Why can't all these people come in? We contribute £20 each to this family. So feeding them, whatever we feed them in the evening. And then they wait until 6 or 7 when the parents come back and collect each one of them from there. These are big kids. Some of them can walk home. They walk to school, but they still have to be in this environment. Because if they are not there, they're wondering. Even when they go home, he will tell his father that I'm at home, when actually he's somewhere doing something else.
That's a very good support system.
Exactly.
Right.
So to me, I think, as it is, society contributes quite a lot, especially as we said, single mothers and single fathers, and you're working, and what time you finish, you believe your daughter or son is old enough to be stay at home from 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock on their own after school. But you never know what might happen. Even though they have a phone or they have anything, they decide, say, I have my time on my hands, let me do something.
Then it's maybe we've become a very individualistic culture. I can do it by myself, which we know that it is impossible to do it by yourself. But do you think that's the thinking, for me to think, oh, I don't need to include Lydia or Steve, even though they live down my street. I don't need to have this conversation with them. I can ask my daughter to just go home.
No, the individualism is there. It is there, I think, to a certain extent. But then, at the same time, the partnership, or I should say, what do you call it, being team players.
Yes.
We Africans are not team players in most of the. I'm sorry to say this. We might be team players at work because we are being paid to be at work. But when it comes to society as a whole, we are not. So everybody goes into something because of what they're going to gain from that. And when it comes to children, it's such that my son or my daughter, what is he going to gain there? So we look at it from those angles. Maybe go there and get into drugs or something. Maybe in somebody's house. They have that kind of thinking, suspicion. And besides, who are you going to select within your communities to house these children? Unless it's a church, for example, or it is, you know, somewhere along the way the individualism comes in. But then at the same time, it's the kind of society we were brought up in, where we came from, our homes, our clans, and so on. All those things come in to contribute to us being who we are. And in the end, it becomes difficult. So unless there are changes made, that's where the problem is.
But I want to ask now, because we always wait to be parents, to start listening to parenting lessons, or listen to, go to, you know, like before, like in Africa, the setup in Africa, we go to our old mamas and they sit down with us and they tell us, just like when you're going to get married in a lot of society, or even in Christian setup, or I don't know if Muslims do it, you have counseling first before you get into marriage. And I think through that counseling, there's some people who say, oh, I don't want to get married. I didn't think it's like this, you know. So you've saved somebody from getting married and then 2 days later, divorce. Okay. So with having children as well, do you think that before you become a parent, there are some things that you should know before you become a parent?
Yeah, I 100% think that it's so important for us to educate ourselves, because you know what you said, that we were brought up with certain values. We are the way we were brought up. If we don't learn something different so that we can either unlearn or relearn, we are going to do exactly the same
thing, yeah.
Because that's what we know. It's called unconscious bias.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we are going to carry on. So, for example, if you grew up in a family where you were not praised, where you were not affirmed, where being tough, like it's being sarcastic and all that, that's how they thought, that's how you need to be treated.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're going to do to your child.
Yeah.
And a lot of us tend to say, oh, it didn't break me, this happened to me, this and this was done to me, but look at me. I'm forgetting there's so many micro fractures within ourselves that we haven't processed. And then you start doing the same things to your kids. And how many parents come to me and say, my goodness, I looked at myself in the mirror and I thought, I'm behaving exactly like my mother. The very same thing I felt so bad when she did to me. That's exactly what I'm doing to my child. Why? Because you never took time to process the fractures. And they're not physical fractures. They're psychological fractures. And if we don't process them, we're just going to carry on. It's the saying that says, if you don't heal what hurt you, you're going to bleed on people who had nothing to do with it.
100%.
I like, sorry, because I just want to ride on what she said about the parenting at home. When they say all these things to the children, they want you to be tough, they want you to be this. There's also something, and I'm not just saying in an African sense, parenting as an African parent or black people, it's all over. I mean, it's this, whatever is affecting us right now, it cuts across.
100%.
It doesn't matter where.
100%.
And there's this thing that we believe and we know that the tongue has the power of life and death.
Of course, yeah.
And we get parents who curse their children, curse and curse, because they're angry with you. So all these words that they keep on saying over and over and over again. Because I know I met a woman, I saw a woman, one day I went to, I don't know, there was a program, I can't remember this, it was a long time ago, but I remember that woman, and I would love to see that boy, where that boy is right now. He was beating the child and saying, you are a devil. So imagine calling your child a devil. And she was doing it in public, which means she's done it.
So she has no fear.
Private,
that means if you can even end up doing it in public, that means at home,
it's
chaos.
And it's not just about discipline the boy, because I know there is discipline, but the words we use. Do you believe that those words become us sometimes?
Now, on all levels, and I'll talk about spiritually, psychologically, scientifically, yes, words have power. In fact, the reason it's called, when you put a spell on someone, how do you say when you want to make words? Spelling. That is what it is. You're actually spelling. So words, you spell words, isn't it? So when you say those nonsense words, you're putting a spell on someone, right? So the thing is, when you tell, children, especially younger ones, and even older ones, they have so much faith in us. They are open. They are like an open book. They are sponges, and that's for good or for bad. So they will soak in whatever you put, and that is what they will believe. It goes into their psyche, their subconscious mind. It goes there, and it becomes their identity. It becomes their personality. So whatever you are saying, think in terms of, I am building my child. This is what I am building, and that's who they are becoming. So we need as parents to be very conscious, even when you feel like you want to put that, because the truth is, Sometimes they can wind you up and you feel like you're going to grab them,
and kill
Flash
them
them
all.
put them in the bin and put them out there. You know, the one they collect and it never comes back. It's not recyclable. You put in that bin,
that's
that
the
one.
end of, that's the end of it.
That's the end of it.
Yeah.
I don't know any parent who has never felt like that. I have felt like that several times. But it is up to us as parents to learn self-regulation. And self-regulation, and you wanted to say self-control, is when you feel like that, it's up to you to remove yourself from that situation, because you're not good for that child at that point.
Yes.
You are not good, because there is no way you can be so angry and then something good is coming from me.
Coming from there.
That's why you hold your thought. Even the Bible, I mean, there are people, I know there's all sorts of people listening here from different cultures, different religions and all that. But sometimes I tend to refer to the Bible because as my background as a Christian, I like to refer to that. But I can also refer to the science. When you tell someone such things, you are literally, it's called self-fulfilling prophecy.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
So if I'm constantly telling you you're a fool, you're a fool, you're a fool, I'm building fool.
Up to the very end.
So, when you stand up as a fool,
that's who you are.
That's who you are. That's who you are.
That's your identity.
Fool.
Yesterday we were discussing a program of International Women's Day, and the lady I had has worked with a lot of women. And I'm sorry if we are moving away from the subject, because this is parenting, but she was explaining that issues of domestic violence and so on that have arrived, women are so in touch that she has dealt with women who are, okay, they love their husbands, but they're trying so much to hold on to a home that their husbands have sort of entered their brains in a way that even if you tell them that cup should be there or something, they wouldn't do it. Or you need to go here, or you need to do this, because the husbands have done what you've done.
Yes,
We have
it's
said
mind,
about the spell.
it's
The mindset
it has
is there,
been
that to them,
yes,
whatever happens, no, he's my husband, I can't do this,
exactly.
I can't do this. In the end, it's such a big spell on them.
It is.
Yeah.
And what every word you're speaking, even as we speak here, what's happening to each one of our brains, we have neurocircuits, they're forming connections, right? So can you, now, you and I and Lydia, we have what we call the thinking faculty. I can look and say, what you're saying is not right. I can critically think and reject what you're saying. Before the age of 25, our young people don't have that executive function, the reasoning, the critical thinking. So whatever you say to them, even the media, sometimes we don't help. When we say things, our children are this, our children are this. So our children just become that. Why? Because it's dropping in there.
Going in there,
The folder, the executive function is not there to say, oh, they're just saying. So it goes straight into their psyche. And then they become that.
Another thing, this is an example from me. I had a very good relationship with my father. And like as I always say, he never praised me. He loved me. But he was a sort of man who praised me when I'm not there. When I played football, I was a sportsman always. Now, he would go and talk to somebody else and say, you see what he did. But in front of me, he never praised me. It would always be, oh, you're going to do this. Oh, did you do my car? Did you do this? Did you? But behind me, he would, you know, this
did you
boy,
get
this
to
boy
know what he was saying?
So when he came here in him and my mother came here. You know, by then he was an old man anyway, 2007. And we had a very, very long chat with him. And I told him, I said, look, listen, one of the biggest problems I had with you, because it was a one-to-one, mature one. And I said, look, you never praised me, because where the conversation started from is he said, look, I'm very proud that you paid tickets for us to come, me and mother and you. I'm so happy you did this for me. And then I said, yeah, but Dad, you've never praised me. Whatever I did, there was always something is wrong. Even I tried humor and everything. I tried to please you. I've done my best, and I'm extremely surprised that you're praising me now for having brought you here. Maybe that's the. He said, no. I've always praised you. But then eventually he was saying, look, the way we were brought up, your grandfather had never praised me. He even at any point lifted me up to say he's proud of me.
So but it's a cycle I did, now.
So, it's a cycle.
So he explained, he said, look,
yes.
The way we men in our societies, in our tribe, are such that a man has got to be a man. If you start holding this young man and doing this, you're probably going to make him a woman instead of you're going to make it. So yeah. He was telling me that even when you beat him, you are punishing him. You don't want to see the tears. I say, what kind of man are you? Or if somebody is threatening the family, he sits here and is watching you whether you're going to stand up and go and defend. There is always that he was saying, look, that's how we are brought up.
Yeah.
And sometimes you go up and be raised by your uncles. They are there because there were females in the family, the mother and the sisters. In my case, there were more sisters, and they said, no, go to your uncles because there are more men. Then when you have men, they said, hey, come on, go and talk to that girl. Be man.
Yeah, be a man.
You got to be a man. You had to. We're not raising a woman here. So you got to talk to her. If she messes around, you give her a slap or something. So there is that element which was existing in raising up, which needs to be addressed as well. Because when it has come through, you somewhere along the way as you get older, raising my son now, I can't tell him to do that. I can't.
You can't. But there's something I'm hearing that you did. You had this conversation with your father. A lot of us never get to have that conversation with their parents. I know I had that conversation with my mother. And it, just listening to her. And I was very angry with how I was brought up and everything. But just listening to her break up and break down and say, this is all I need to do. I could not give you what I did not have.
Exactly.
And I was just filled with compassion for her. And I said, and that's the moment I knew, I'm going to be a very conscious parent. First of all, anything that happened in me, I had to look within me. How has it formed me? Because I talked about the fractures. Some of them, even I'm not perfect, I still have those fractures. Because sometimes my daughter will stand and tell me something. And the first thing for me is, who do you think you're speaking to? That's how I feel. I won't tell her. But then I see, and I have to hold myself and say, no. She has a right to question me. The only thing I ask for is that do not be rude.
Yeah, they have to be respect.
Do not be rude. You can question me. You can tell me no. You can tell me, come, let's reason together, which is what God says to us. Come, let us reason together. So we as parents should be able to exercise that towards our children. But I like what you did with your dad. And that must have brought healing. A lot of men, a lot of women never get to do that. So they're walking wounded. They're walking wounded.
You're right. They're walking wounded.
You know what you said, what we said about the tongue. I'm going back there because there's a lot of things about this tongue thing, especially now I'm talking about Africa, where they say if a child does anything wrong, if the husband and the wife are fighting, or boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever, whichever way they found themselves, and there's a child involved, it's the child that suffers. Because the woman is now angry, the man is now angry. I will say this in Swahili because I've had a lot of this, because I'm from Kenya and I've had a lot of this. When ni mjinga kama baba yako, ama wewe ni mjinga kama mama yako. So if your mom is angry, you're stupid like your dad. If your dad is angry, you're stupid like your mom. or when surambaya kama you're ugly like your mom, you're ugly like your dad, you're stupid like your mom, you're stupid like your dad, you go back to your mom, you go back to, so the child is always hearing from the mom negative, from the dad negative. And then we also have women who now have come and they tell, or let me not just say women, but even men, but of course most of them is women, because it's most women that stay home with the children, saying all these negative things about the dad to the child. They don't know how that affects the child. It doesn't affect the child to hate the dad. It also affects the child to hate themselves. And it also affects the child to hate you as the mother who is telling them the things, because this child is whole because of both parents.
Exactly. So we have this conversation before, isn't it?
That you're taking one away from them. So now you're telling them this, and they'll sit there and start thinking, oh, why is mom telling me this? So is it my fault? Is it? And then you have dads as well who will tell children bad things about their mom. And then sometimes you have this child. When this child is with the dad is telling bad things about the mom. When this child is with the mom, so the child is like, okay,
it's caught up in the middle.
Now I'm confused. So who is the bad one? Because it's my mom. So how can we solve that?
What I usually say, and even myself, I've been in that situation, and what I usually advise parents is, let the child experience the parent as who. Don't give them your story. Don't give me, for example, don't give them your version of the story. Let them experience, because don't forget they are human beings.
Of course,
they will see. They will experience the person. They will know whether he's the person good or bad, liar, or they keep their promises. They will know because they are experiencing them. The danger is when I sell my story to my child, and then they will experience the father or the mother, and then they are thinking, you actually are the liar. But they can't tell you that, because remember, these children rely on us. They are thinking, I cannot challenge my parents at this point because I live with them, upon them I feed, upon them I get my clothes, everything. So they will not. But imagine the dissonance that's happening within their mind. And here is what we know. When there is dissonance, right? When there are two conflicting ideas inside of a young person, that's why we have a lot of mental health problems and a lot of identity problems. And then we wonder, identity crisis. And then we wonder, what's happening? Now is when we need to come back to myself and ask myself, where have I contributed towards this? And here is what, as a wise parent, if you realize, oh my God, I've done this, I always say to parents, humility is leadership. And if you want to get to a point where, yes, I may have hurt my children, but I can come back and say, tell me, where is it that I did not do right by you? And then you apologize.
Because there's one thing my daughter told me one day. She said, Mommy, you never even asked us how we felt when Dad left. I felt so horrible, but I didn't know better, just like our parents didn't know anything. Because even me, I just saw my dad go. My dad beat my mom because my dad was a very violent man. And I didn't know anything. So me, I knew this man is here with me. Tomorrow is gone. I don't care to ask my children how they're feeling. I care about how am I feeling. Do you know what I mean? How am I feeling in this situation? But one day when my daughter said that, she said, Mom, you never even asked us. And I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So how do you feel? She said, it's too late.
I know. They've sorted themselves out somehow.
But because she said that.
But now you know. You can advise someone.
So I can advise someone. And also, sometimes I go back to them and I start relating how I can talk to them. How am I going to talk to them? Something that will bring back that thing. Not saying it direct the way it is, because they told me direct. So if I tell them direct, they'll be like, oh, Mom, please, don't bring that up.
Don't try it.
Don't try it. So I know how to go back, conversations to have with them. But I can see that as a little thing. Like, this is a little thing. It's not. To them,
it's very big.
It's big.
Yeah, it is.
And that's why we need to.
It's always going to be very big.
That's why we need to validate. Like when your child comes and says to you that this is how I'm feeling, or this is what's happening, it doesn't matter what I think. Maybe even things like, oh, what you said to me was not appropriate. I shouldn't say, hey, but you were supposed to have cleaned up the room and that should not be my response. Although, to be honest, that's how I feel. I want to say it like that.
Yeah.
But my job is to say, okay, how would you prefer for me to address you next time? You're not saying that the room should not be clean. You're saying, how do you prefer for me to address? Then they'll tell you, maybe don't shout at me. Don't come knocking at the door at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And we need to be respectful. We need to show them boundaries.
But you see, what you got to see there is the age. The age also matters, because the age of the child, you know, my daughter here,
100%.
if you know, she's now a woman of 18 and she's up in university 20 now.
Yeah.
But when she was young, it was always a question of, you got to do this, you got to do this,
Yes.
you got to do what your mother has said. But it came a time when she would, you know, take it for granted. Yeah, and no. But there were times when I would say, no, this is not a negotiable thing. You're going to do the dishes. It's non-negotiable. You got to clean the house. You got to hoover the house. That's non-negotiable. Then we can start thinking about your new shoes or whatever.
But
if nothing of that is happening.
Yeah, but you know,
because the idea was, if she gets to that stage where, for example, things like when she turned 15 or 16, you know, everything was coming automatically. She knows she comes from school, she's got to clean the house, she's got to do this before she does anything
but
else.
you see,
because we are taught her from the beginning that these things have to be done.
Yeah,
so
but it's not just the things has to be done. It's what you're saying is good, but it's not what you say. It's the way you say it.
It's how you say it.
So you can tell your child you have to wash dishes, which is true, because we have to teach them how they will be independent.
Of course, yeah.
But it's like us when we were growing up. I think even that we should have that topic and start laughing how they used to beat us before we do something. I don't know if it was like that in Uganda, but in Kenya, your mom will beat you.
You
not washing
you don't
dishes.
even know.
You've not even washed dishes yet. She's going and she say, if I come back, I better get the dishes washed.
Yes.
Like, you've not even gone and you're beating me for something I've not even done.
You're beaten in advance.
So just to show you that you should do what you're supposed to do.
But that's wrong. But that's wrong. But if you talk to a child and say, I'm going out, if I come back, sweetie, make sure that the dishes are washed when I come back. That's fine. I'm coming back at 5. Just make sure by the time I come back, the dishes are washed. You don't beat me in advance and tell me that I'm beat when I come back at 5. So it's not what you say. It's the way you say it that damages these children.
Yeah.
But then also they learn that that is the status quo. That is how
that's how it's supposed to be.
And that's, again, that's the problem. Because if that's the way it's supposed to be, what happens when they, let's say they go, they're in a family, or they get into boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, how do they deal with things? That's the way it's supposed to be. That's why there's a lot of abuse with young people's relationships. The same thing they have learned from home. And then from that one, it moves on to when they go and they're older, and this cycle never ends. So we have to come to a point where you say, it ends with me. How can I do it differently? And we are not saying, we're not here to tell anyone, or tell this is the perfect.
Think we are perfect.
No.
Oh my God, come to my house.
So I know.
I think the whole thing, it goes back again. I want to bring you back to the topic we had yesterday, International Women's Day. Education is the key to most of these things, and we have, sometimes we haven't gone deep into educating our own societies. There are churches there are schools there, there's everything. But at the end of the day, these are not some of the topics that are discussed.
We don't discuss this because they're so personal. And for me to discuss, for example, if we are discussing with you about parenting and domestic, it's so personal that maybe I don't want to hear something that's going to unravel what I've always been doing, or that's going to expose me as a not perfect parent, which a lot of people pretend to be perfect parents, and we are not. No one is. What we are here for is for progress.
Do we say, because now when the issue of domestic violence came up and others have come in, why I always bring this thing up is that maybe we should look at the schools as well. And I've always brought in examples of Malaysia, Indonesia, and even Japan, where children at the age of 18, when they're at university, there are courses that are done, the normal courses of educating, especially like Malaysia. They have a course whereby we are going to walk into the community. You can't just throw your rubbish anywhere. You can't just do this. There are so many things being taught.
Yes.
There's very little domestic violence there because men are taught women are not there to be abused.
The value,
exactly,
the value of women.
Then women are also taught that, listen, a man is not there to be abused because he's not going to abuse you. So the balance has got to be there. So by the time they go into their 20s and they're supposed to get married, this whole lesson was learnt at school.
Ingrained, yeah. So you say that, you know, for the longest time we've been...
should we say that our institutions, our politicians are warned about this? Somebody brought it up in Kenya, one of the ladies, she's a very famous lady, politicians in the Kenyan parliament. She was talking about, she's a very famous lady, you should know her. She talks so much.
Which one? Millie.
Millie.
Millie bad girl.
Yeah,
bad girl.
she talked about something and she brought out that community thing and said, look, listen, even when you were talking about married men, but said, look, if I need be, I could also marry another man, then have another man somewhere as well, so that if can we be equal? I have married 2 men as well, you know. So can we look at these things? We address the domestic violence issues, the issues of how we are raising our children, the issue. I mean, she brought in a lot of things which one of the legislators was actually telling her that, listen, these are things beyond parliament. These are things which should be discussed into you know, into homes, and there should be difference. And they said no. If we don't set into the constitution the way we were setting a constitution saying marriage, for example, the topic which they had about the age of marriage, female circumcision, which was also another major topic. And then she also talked about there was something else as well, which was also involving divorces. I said these are issues which we need to address. You know, it's not only men who should be taking care of their children. No, we should also address women if they're earning more money. This whole thing, if we have to keep the balance, we should, you know, look at the divorce rates and child support and all. I mean, she has gone so deep into most of these cases, and I would say, I wish we could adapt that woman in Uganda. Because these are topics which need to come out.
These topics, for the last I think 6 years, we've been wanting the parliament to introduce healthy relationships in schools. It has taken a long time, but just about November, they accepted that they can do it. You can imagine how ecstatic I was, right? Because, like you rightfully said, if children can be shown what is healthy, and they're discussing it all the time, then they're able to look in their homes and say, this is not healthy.
Exactly.
This is not healthy. If someone, because the reason there is abuse is because there is no healthy relationships taught. That is the reason. People don't know, because even some of us who have been in abusive relationships, there are things I didn't know was abuse. Only come out here like, oh my God.
So that is abuse.
That is abuse. You know, because we did not know. But if they know from that age, then they can challenge. They can report. Because a child who, let's say, the uncle comes in, hugs them, has sexually assaults them, they think it's normal.
It's normal,
But if in school they're taught, this is healthy, this is healthy, this is not healthy, then when someone does that, they're like, you know, they feel,
they will know.
They'll speak to the other kid in school and say, this happened to, and the other kid, and I have heard that. I have had children encourage other children to report. They say to them, did you not think that is abuse? And they report it. A lot of I work a lot with teenagers. They're sexually assaulted, and some of them don't know, but their peers, because they know. They're like, we will take you to the police station. Why don't you tell your mom? You know, it's conversations like those ones. And that's what we want it to be. We want it to be a common conversation, because when we have healthy relationships, it's nice, because it moves you from when you're little, you're healthy, when you're teenagers, because our teenagers are having relationships.
Yeah, of course.
It's healthy. Can you imagining your 20-year-old, someone is frightening her every minute. She can't even study because of fright.
Parents.
How would you feel if that was happening to your daughter?
Of course,
it would be.
It would be terrible.
I think you'd feel like you're gonna go and get that key.
I'll probably go and sort it out.
Exactly. That's how you feel.
Yeah, go and sort it out.
So but you want them to know this is not right. This doesn't feel right, and either they can share with you or their mother, or they can report.
So
and then
they need to know that there's a space.
Exactly.
So I'm going back again, because I'm on this thing of
Parenting,
the tongue.
The power of tongue.
I'm on this thing. So also, the other thing that a lot of parents, or a lot of us as parents, we fail is when we're angry, because you know when you're angry with your child, it's good to take time out.
Oh, yes.
Take time out and think of the punishment, because punishment has to be there, but you have to think of the punishment before, when you're not angry. But I see a lot of parents that when they're angry, they speak the punishment. And then when they've calmed down, that punishment,
is
they
too
don't,
much.
they feel like, oh my God, what did I say? And now the child doesn't, that punishment is not carried anymore, because, oh, it's too much, it was too heavy, I was angry. So now, if you're a parent who is doing that, if you do that, even if it's once, your child will start taking advantage, because the child will know, oh, mom always says it, but she never does it.
She never does it.
So for me, I'm very careful when I speak a punishment, because when I speak it, you have to do it.
It has to be carried through.
It has to
it's
be
very
carried through.
important.
It's very important, and I think that's where, as well as parents, we fall short, because we are angry and then we speak. Like we say, words have power.
Of course,
but once you speak a punishment, it has to be, you have to carry it on. As if it's harsh, tough, but it has to be done. Because I remember one day when I gave my daughter a punishment that she's not going to celebrate her birthday. Yes, I said it when I was angry, but I knew when I wasn't angry, I was like, she's not going to do her birthday.
Because if you reverse it.
I can't reverse it. And they had planned already with another girl that they're going to have birthday together. So the girl's mom actually called me. Because my daughter said, you call my mom, she might change her mind. The woman called me and I said, Miss, I respect you so much, but I don't work like that. When I give a punishment, she was saying, can you give her something else? I said, no. When I give a punishment, it has to be carried out. And that's how my children know that if mommy says it, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
So sometimes I just don't say it. I'm so upset that I just say, you know what, just get off my face.
Yes.
Just get off my face.
Yes.
And then I'll think of a punishment. So I think that's something that we are falling off
we
much
do
as
fall,
parents.
and because sometimes we don't believe that we can be wrong.
Yeah.
You see, as parents, sometimes we think, oh, I cannot be wrong. I cannot be questioned. But it's important. That's where humility.
Yeah.
When you look at yourself as a leader, because that's what I say. I say to myself, I say to my clients, look at yourself as a leader. What are some of the qualities of inspirational leadership? Humility is one of them. And what does this require? It requires for you to reflect, say, fine, I am not in the right state of mind to make this decision. And I'll tell you why. If I tell you what I'm thinking right now, I would have cut your toe. Because that's how you're feeling. So you remove yourself.
Can I say something here which we sort of forget? We do jobs that are very, very demanding, and both men and women. Now you come home, somebody has broken this, somebody has done this, and sometimes out of anger. You didn't really mean that, but because the stress of the job alone has, and then the cups are broken now, and the money which was supposed to go to Africa somewhere now is going to buy new cups. Or this is at one time I was so annoyed with my daughter that she did something. She was complaining about some dress or something like that. But in my mind, the money I had just lost, my dad was sick. There were other things on my mind. And when I come and then suddenly somebody hasn't even waited for me to rest. He said, Dad, you didn't do this, you did it. I said, who do you think you're talking to? You're looking for the death penalty or something. I mean, the point is, then it took me a while to realize it's my...
it's your stress.
It's the stress
talking,
from
yes.
The vehicle had a small micro. Somebody had banged at the back, and I wasn't there. We parked it somewhere and then come back, and now the things were coming in. Now we need to start thinking of the repair. There's no insurance now because I don't know who did that. The mirror is gone. And
please don't.
Yeah, so and then I come here and you're telling me.
And then you're telling me about the party.
No. There's something else about the dress. Oh, this thing, where they take it back. In my mind, what was in my mind was, you're bloody talking about your dress.
Exactly.
Yeah? When I have nearly 1,000 pounds to deal with. And then there are other things that are spoiled here. The carpet, something left a candle there, and something happened to the carpet. And so there were a lot of these, and my anger was up.
Yes.
And it was the wrong moment for that thing to come in. You know, luckily her mother had realized it and said, no, come down, wait. Then can I get a cup of tea or something? And I sat down afterwards. Then she went on talking, and I knew if I go upstairs,
you will get one of her toes.
Yeah, if I go upstairs, she will really get it. But then kept talking. Then afterwards, I think going to bed or something, I didn't say anything because my anger was up. Later on, when I went to say goodnight, that's when I'd calmed down, and I said, look, I've had a terrible day. I'll think about your dress, but I've had a horrible day. And the thing is, don't ever approach me like that. Don't ever do that, because you don't know what has happened. You don't know where I've been. You don't know what has happened to the car. You don't know.
Let me ask you, Steve.
But it took a while.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that I can understand with some of these parents when they say certain things, if the children have annoyed them, and they find them saying things which they can't take back.
True.
And sometimes it becomes, especially with women, if men have left them and gone, and then these are
it's not women, it's everybody.
It's they're constantly looking at the picture of the man, in front
looking
of them. Yeah. So it's the man. It's especially if the daughter or son is the reflection
of the kids,
of the
and
father.
most of the time they are.
So they're looking at them and say, look, it's because of you I'm in this sort of mess. You know, instead of that, the whole thing comes back to the child rather than, you know. So in my mind, I think, again, we go back to how I look at it, education, you know, and then of course the elders, if they were nearer, and unfortunately we are abroad, we are so far away from Africa, because it would be easier.
The elders don't help.
No, some of them do. Some of them do. Worse. Because they've been through this situation.
When it comes to parenting, they're worse. Domestic violence, they're worse because they tell you stay. I think we should leave
not
the elders.
Not all of them.
Leave elders out of our business nowadays.
Not all of them. Some of them, if you've really given a very good explanation, you know, I remember my sister coming home and she was explaining something about her husband, and she was, you know, until my auntie was telling her, you've told us your side of the story. Yeah. We don't know the side of story. And she was very clever. She said, I've listened to what you're saying. You've repeated a number of things a number of times. But if we talk to him tomorrow, I'm going to send Stephen to go and talk to him. But we get his side of the story, and then we balance. And we have it in our language in Luganda, that tosalango musango, ngatona salagwa amlegi, that don't judge a case. Yeah.
From one side. From
one side of the cup. Yeah. You've got to judge the other. You be in the middle and listen to both of them. And obviously, when he had issues, now that I represent my father,
you're the father figure.
You're the father figure. I inherited my father. That means I inherited everybody, my sisters and everything. So when the issues come, they call me in these meetings and I sit down and I listen to my brother-in-law say, tell me your side of the story. And then sometimes my sisters would be jumping. I said, wait, hey, listen. I've asked him to speak, not you. You sit down. Then the sisters would say, I said, we've listened to your story. And sometimes when she tries to jump in, and even my son-in-law, I would jump in and say, hey, please, I'm listening to her side of the story. Then you hear the two don't balance. One is saying, oh, when I come back, I do this and that. And the other one also saying, oh, I provide this or this. No, school fees. The issues that we all are used to. Then I sit down and I said, do you guys love each other?
But can you go back to parenting?
Then okay, let's go back to that.
Can you go back to parenting because our time we ran before.
Okay.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to say is I like the fact that when your daughter approached you and you were angry, you went back, and I know you said, don't approach me like that again, but at least you apologized and said you are going through so much. And that is what, because she also said something very profound, that we make mistakes as parents. But some parents think that we are always right, we don't make mistakes. But you see, when a child approaches you like that, like your daughter did, and you lash out, the best thing is, when you've lashed out, is to realize what you've done. That now means that you're human and you made a mistake. So the mistake was your reaction to her. That was your mistake as a parent.
But you see...
But now, hang on.
Lydia.
Hang on.
Yeah.
You went back to tell her. Now you went back to mitigate that situation.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So that's what a lot of us as parents don't do.
Don't have the capacity.
When we get, they don't have the capacity to do that. We get angry, like I was angry with my daughter, like you are. Let's say example, now I'm using that example. You're angry with that like that. She went to bed. You two, you go to bed in the morning. In the morning, you see each other. You still carry it on. And then the next day again, you're not talking to this child. Now this child will go outside to find somebody to talk to. Because my dad is angry, my dad is this, you understand? But if a parent, like you realize, can realize that, okay, what I did, yes, she approached me the way she approached me, that she's my child. I'm the parent here.
Yeah, I'm the grown-up.
I'm the grown-up, I'm the leader, and I'm the parent.
You're the leader, and remember the child's brain. Always remember that child's brain. I am the one who has the executive function. They do not have the executive function. So you go back. When you realize, then you go back. So what you did was really, really good. And that's what I think as parents, because I remember even me, I had something with my daughter, and I was so angry with her. And my other daughter came, Mommy, stop doing this. And I didn't speak because I was still upset, and I knew she was upset as well. But I allowed at least one day to go. After one day, I didn't talk to her, she didn't talk to me. After one day, I called her and I told her, sit down, baby, sit down. And before, I hugged her, and she knew exactly what I wanted to say. I hugged her and she started crying. And when she finished crying, I now told her, I'm sorry for what I did. I'm not sorry for what happened, but I'm sorry for the way I reacted. You are sorry. I'm sorry for not regulating me.
Yes.
The situation is still different.
There.
It's still there.
I'm
it
not
has
apologizing.
To be done.
Yeah, it has to be done. So I think that's where parents are supposed to get. And also, in saying that, I wanted to also say that separation of behavior and the child.
Ooh, so, I love that. I love
we have to separate this, because somebody will say, you are so stupid. You are not stupid. It's the behavior.
What you've done.
Of the child,
What you've done, for example, maybe your child breaks your newest, I don't know, whatever, nice thing. Of course, you feel angry, But why is the child stupid? Why is the child naughty? Why? You don't use those words. You say, what you have done is totally unacceptable. In fact, maybe what we are going to do, you're going to use some of your pocket money to repair that. I love you very much. Forever. You are worthy. You are everything to me. And you are, you are good. You are everything. But what you have done is unacceptable. That way of thinking, a lot of people are not able to do. They're not able to separate the behavior.
They're not trained.
Because, yes,
we're not trained. That's what I'm saying. When I mentioned Malaysia and Japan, these conversation we're having, even domestic violence is a major issue in Japan. It used to be so bad that they had to take it in schools. They had to take it in schools. After the Second World War, there's a lot, the history of it. Some Japanese women would be killed by men, because of the war had caused a lot of mental health issues in Japan. Now, they had to retrain most of the men. They had to relearn them. Malaysia, they had to do that. If you throw a packet somewhere, biscuit, or a packet of something, they can arrest you. So now everything goes in a bin. There was an American child who was caned under the law They have even caning. If you're a child, you're above 16 or 17, you do something wrong in Malaysia, they cane you. And the American president even was, leave our child. They said, no, this is Malaysian law. They caned it. He took the canes, the 5 canes, and then they threw him back out of the country. You know. So what I'm saying is that education is a major issue, and in Africa especially, we like our cultures, we like our issues, but somewhere along the way, in my mind, for example, the issue I've mentioned with my daughter, if I didn't have some kind of training through the aunties and having seen, maybe I wouldn't, because it's like I've seen I've worked in a court when I was in Uganda, and men have been brought in who have killed their wives and after beat because out of anger. There are no courses for anger management. You know, I may get annoyed with you, Lydia, and within a few minutes I punch you, and then I realize later on that why did I punch you? Because anger management. We need to go through these courses.
We call it Hasara.
Yeah. So these things have got to be trained. Now I saw that, and because I saw it in courts and I saw how men are spending years in prison. I said, no, it will never happen. It will never. Why would I beat a woman? For what? And is it paying to put me in there in a consignment? No. That's not me. So it's similarly with the family as well.
But you had to accept that, this is not where I want to end up. This is not the example I want to give my family.
The thing is when you learn about anger management, it's a question of before you do anything, you get annoyed. Something can annoy you. And then the first thing you do is either you move away, because my dad was telling me this many times. He said, hey, you get annoyed. Even when they were here, I got annoyed with my missus, and and he said, no, you stand straight away, and sometimes you go outside, then get your anger sorted out, and then you come back, even if she may still be annoyed or something. But because the first impressions have come in and you've swallowed it, straight away you move away. You move away. And when you move out, it has helped me a lot. In a pub one day here, we were having a football match. We were having some argument in Walthamstow, and my anger had gone up. But I just moved away. I moved out, left my beer there, and went outside. For about 2-3 minutes, and then came back.
You are a good example of self-regulation
and control.
And self-control, self-regulation of what's going in. Because you are aware, you're so aware that it's building up, and it's building up. And sometimes when it builds up so much, you end up doing something that you will regret.
That's what I'm saying. The retraining for most parents, parenting. The issues we're having with our kids now here, all these issues about wording, when they cast their kids and all that, these things need to retraining. Even pastors, I've been to a church one day, and one pastor was so annoyed and was saying certain things and said, wow.
And teachers, what about teachers? Teachers, even they hold so much power over our children. I don't understand why. They hold, because I think they are more with our children more than the children are with us in the house. And they hold so much power, and they keep on telling your child, you'll never make it. And this is just a testimony for me, because now my daughter, there is a university doing criminology. When she was choosing universities, because they choose universities, the teacher told her, and I actually told her, my darling, go back to that teacher and show her all the universities they called you. The teacher told her, oh, don't waste your time choosing this university, because they won't choose you. And she said no. And she chose the 5 universities she chose. They called her in all the 5 universities, and they are top universities.
That teacher needs to be held responsible.
I told her to go back to the teacher, but it's not just that. The teachers do that a lot. That's why you see in Kenya we say mwalimu wa maths uko wapi, because teachers are always telling children.
I mean, I remember my English teacher in high school. She said, "Oh, you get D's and E's," and I remember when I got an A. I went back.
I have to go back.
I went back.
They have
and
anger
I
management
showed
issues,
her. I said to her, now you can see, is there any D's and E's in English? No.
So I think that teaching that you're saying should happen, it should cut across. It's not just for parents, it's also for teachers. I think it's anybody who deals and works with children.
That's why I even mentioned the media, right? Because don't forget, all these are vibes. They're there. What are our children believing? what is dropping into their psyche.
Yeah.
What is the neighbor saying? They say, oh, children of these days, they're so useless, they're so, you know.
That's it, dropping.
You know, and children, oh, if I'm useless, what's the point?
Exactly.
What's the point? I sit there.
And also the music that they listen to, because there's this music, I'm gonna sing it, but I hate it so much. Born to suffer, born to suffer. So if you keep on singing that born to suffer, all you do is suffer now. You're born to suffer. So I'm like, and that's like you do the song. There will be more prison.
I know.
There will be no hospital. So there will be more prison. There will be prison. What is prison for? Is it not for people who commit crime?
Of course.
So there will be more prison. There will be less schools. I was born to suffer, and you're there singing born to suffer, and you're just singing that into your subconscious.
Exactly.
And that's
you're
what
singing
you do.
into your subconscious, and that becomes your experience in life.
Suffer.
And then we wonder, why
am I suffering?
Why am I suffering? Or why are generations getting worse and worse? Because let's assume what you eat. You know the saying, we become what we eat. It's the exact same. We become because
what we hear.
What is your brain and your mind eating? It's that, and that is what you become.
All that.
It's soaking. And it's so interesting now. Science is trying to. The Bible told us that ages ago, right? Now science is catching up. We can see on scans. When you say such things, what's happening? The belief system begins to
come in.
To come in. They begin to adopt that. And our children will rise and fall
over that.
To the belief of what we believe for them.
There's something I want us to discuss, because my time is also running out. You did say when we started that a child is Iroko tree, like Iroko tree. A child is for the community.
Of course.
But do you think we've lost that?
Well, I think to a certain extent, yes. The community has lost that. Because the people who are governing communities are not bringing the communities together. The church leaders are supposed to be building communities together. But instead, they're busy looking for money. So, that's true. Most of them are praying here, they're doing this, they're doing this. It's all about money. It's no longer about a service. It's no longer about a service. It's how much money, how much tiles are they bringing in? You know, we've gone to service, you come here, they give you envelopes. It's all about money. You know, it's no longer we put the service in.
I wouldn't say
okay, let's leave the church.
Don't say that.
Let's leave the churches
some churches
then.
are not like that.
Okay.
Most of them, yes, but not all of them.
Okay. Then let's look at other areas of the community, the groups. This is where your Kenya in the park comes in anyway as well.
Kenyan friends in the park.
Kenyan friends in the park. You also need to have an area there where somebody could come and sit down and listen to good parenting. Maybe next time.
You should do that.
Someone sits there and is talking about good parenting. You know, so that at least you'll have seen Indians going to Hyde Park one time. I was passing through there, and I went and I realized they called a gula from India. They're called gulas or something from India, and he was addressing Indian. The whole ceremony was about parents and children. And this is a very famous Indian gula. I don't know what her name is.
Suduru.
Suduru is something.
So
they paid money for the park, and all those who could afford came in. They sat in, and they were giving them. And I sat and I listened, and I said, "Whoa, this is wonderful."
Steve, let me ask you: do we have? Do we? I like that, and I'll speak about it. But I'll throw one question to you: do you think we have the humility to do that?
Oh yeah, we have it.
Do we?
We have it. We have it. The only problem is, as it is, we have it. The problem is, it's like we wait for someone else to stand up and do something. You know, when you started Kenya in the park, I'm sorry to bring this in. Then there is now something Kenya. There's now something. The others are coming.
Even we have Kenyans in Bambari.
There's 1,000 Kenyans now everywhere.
Because somebody has done that. Now what I'm saying is the similar thing as you are saying. When somebody starts it and it's there, and they see how effective it's going. Nobody's willing to stand up and say, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
But the minute you start.
The minute you start it, then they would start it. So it's there in us. But
yeah, but it's in us, but we can't do it. That's the question she asked. It's in us, but yes, we cannot sustain it, because if the three of us are here and everybody's waiting for someone to start, and then I start, and then because I've started, instead of you supporting me, because I've started it,
you start
like,
go and start your own
I'm going to start to destroy this. You too, I'm going to start to destroy this.
Isn't there? Is it that's what?
That's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem.
That's what we're Africans, we're facing, and that's colonization of our mind. Our minds have been colonized, and that's a topic for another day.
And it's separation and conquer, isn't it?
Yes,
that's the one.
Separation and conquer.
That's what
happening
instead of
in
coming
African
together,
community.
supporting this one, coming here. Oh, I'll start my little shop there. Instead of everyone coming in and let's do this, and it's a big one. We have economies of scale. No. So, what we were talking about, the Iroko train community. I know you're talking about the churches and the groups and everything. But what about the parents themselves, individuals? Because I remember before, you wouldn't mind if your child, if an auntie or an uncle brought your child and said, this child did this. And they're like, deal with that child. You understand? This child did it. Now, you're not even allowed to tell another child off. I do not talk to my child. Do not tell my child anything. And then now, when the child, something has happened, either the child is now in a gang, the child's in a prison, the child has killed somebody, the child has been killed.
That's
now
when you went
come
back in,
you come back and say, oh, these people did not help me, or people are judging me. And then there's this thing that also people, you're even scared now. If your children are good behavior children, they're good behaved, you're even scared to talk about your children being good behaved. They're well behaved, because somebody else will start saying, you're boasting, who do you think you are? So the society is so corrupt and confused.
We are corrupt and confused. You're correct. There's a lot of, we're not doing something, yet we are feeling, I don't want you to talk about your good children. I don't know why. Instead of thinking, wait a minute, Lydia has 20, 17, 18, whatever year-old children. Let me learn something or two from her. But a lot of people, who does she think she is?
It's still go back to education, I think, with me. I've always wanted that. When we put this thing down and he said, okay, how do we put education into our children? How do we put education into parents? How do we make sure that our generation is different from the other generation? It goes back to that, and it's, to me, I look at our societies, and I said those who are leading our societies are not jumping in to help with all this. You know, with the knife crime, we sat with the police in Tottenham at one point. There was a very good topic about how can we police Tottenham. And I've got an office there, and so the police inspector was asking black people the questions. And we were saying, even if you police Tottenham and you put a lot of policemen on the street, knife crime will still be there, because something has got to go into the homes where these boys are. The gangs are there. They have already how do you dismantle the gangs? I told them, this is what we need to talk about. How do we dismantle them? How do we deal with that? Because even if you're going to police, it's a waste of time. You know, they'll still be killed.
So I'm so sorry, we're running out of time. I know this topic, we have to come back and talk about parenting.
We need to
Because
carry
that's the
on.
beginning of everything. In fact, I'm going to bring you when there's somebody that said she doesn't believe in people having children, because she said that people always ask, why didn't you have children? Or why don't you have children? Instead of asking, why did you have children? Why did you have children? For what reason did you have children? She said almost all parents are selfish, because when you ask a parent, why did you have children? Sometimes they don't even know. They're like,
we don't even know, to be honest.
The minute you say, you had them for your selfish reasons. You don't even know why you had them. So I'll bring that lady, and I also bring you on that day. That would be amazing. And I would love to hear that topic, because even me, I have 4. I don't know why I have them.
You have 4? I have 1.
I had them because the Bible says have children. Society wants you to have children. Community wants you to have children. You also want to feel like, because I want to feel like a woman, because nobody should call me a barren. I want to have children. But to be honest, if you ask deep, so many people had children for selfish reasons. And when she analyzed it to me,
some of us women never had choices.
Exactly.
Just
Choices.
open.
What do you mean?
No, we don't have a choice.
That's the thing. You don't have a choice, and you bring a child into the world,
Yeah, but
and then they start suffering.
no. When somebody tells you are the father, and you didn't plan to say, you didn't sit down to plan and say, listen, let's have a baby or something.
but we know.
Have a choice.
But we know. But we all know.
So you give us your last parting because we're finishing. Give us your last parting, and then you give your last parting and you finish.
Myself, I would say, as parents, it's very important to realize that you're a leader, and one of the qualities of leadership is humility, and humility requires that I am willing to learn, I am willing to relearn, and I am willing to unlearn what is not useful. That, for me, is inspirational leadership for my children. And when I say of children, I have my own birth children and all the children that I work with. So that's what I would say.
It's a simple for me. It's a simple question. It's always been education. If we go out, get the leaders to be educated. If I had the money, I probably start an organization that educates men, both men and women, how to be good parents in a way. Not only that, but also to look into other things, so that the organization is there. It's running to see what if there's something going wrong, how do we correct it within our community? So we go to that. Then we call those who are concerned to give speeches, and the way the Indians do, so that the more lessons people learn, the better society will become. Because so many people are there ignorant. What we are talking about here, some of them have never gone through that.
Yes.
So they need to be to learn, especially anger management is what is killing most of our marriages. Somebody learns how to handle anger management, then to make them a better people. That's all.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you, my Angela, as usual. Thank you, Steve, as usual. And thank you very much, every single person who took their time to come and watch this show today. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again next week on Wednesday. And I want to say thank you to my producers as well, my Mr. Big Joe, and my sister, my lovely Sis, who makes me look beautiful. She makes sure that my makeup is on point. So thank you so much, my behind-the-scene production team of Omega UK TV, Omega TV UK, or Omega UK TV, Omega TV UK, guys. Omega TV UK, thank you so much. And thank you for myself, Lydia Tetolet, as well, because we don't really get to say thank you to us. And nobody says thank you to you anyway. You see the camellia falls down from the tree. It looks right and left, and then it goes, well done to me.
I didn't know that.
It says that. It goes like, well done, I jumped. That jump was really
great.
good. So today I'll say thank you to me as well. So thank you so much. Until next week on Wednesday, I'll see you again at 6 p.m. UK time and 9 p.m. Kenyan time. I'll say see you then. That's Auntie Sana, and it can only be God, like we always say. I sign out. Thank you, guys. Love you.